Hey dudes, it's your friend, the Reverend Pirate Frog. Come join me in the circle with my bearded brother, Howling Buds, the poet laureate himself, Stony Alpinist, and of course, the better half of Frapple and my friend, Johnny Apple. Pass to the left and let's have some fucking fun. Can't start. Okay, really?
Yes, I can.
One of these days, we're going to get professional. You would think, and I'll give you a little spoiler. We have a pretty big guest. Howling has finally joined us. Howling, how you doing?
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Stony, how you doing?
Welcome. Feeling good.
Johnny, thank you for starting and throwing me on my feet.
You're welcome.
And
wait, we get to see you tonight. This is huge.
Momentarily, I'm trying to rush off camera as fast as I can. Introducing on April Fools, Daz. Thank you so much for joining Your Average Grow.
Best day for a fool like me. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
And then he disappears as soon as
That's all. He did his job.
Shirt's gone. Back in the.
No, when I mute for a little bit longer,
for making him lead.
I think you just made someone's night or morning time if you actually showed yourself, Rev. I know people.
Yeah, I really thought he was sticking around.
Oh no, that's that's the full length of it. Full length.
I feel blessed to have seen that. That was nice.
There was only one other occasion, and that was our 100th episode that I was live. But what I found was I really hate seeing myself in the background. So I was just like, man, I can't do this. But this works.
Those mirrors must be a bitch in your house.
I ain't got no mirrors in my house, dude.
Yeah.
You think you can look like this and walk outside with mirrors in your house?
Yeah.
That's what the neighbors are for, right? They just give you the opinions that you need.
Yeah, it's that terrible all the time. But Daz, man, thank you for joining us. I know it's fucking late in the fucking East Coast here, and I appreciate your time. So right off the bat, I'd like to say thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
I know a lot of our listeners, you're a fucking hero in our community. You've done a lot of great works with Autoflowers, man. So we wanted to get you on and fucking smoke some weed with you and
I appreciate you
tell some stories.
Yeah, no, I'm just doing what I love. So I don't know. I live with myself every day, so I've got a different view of my world than a lot of other people do. So it's always interesting to get that feedback. And I still haven't really taken the time to kind of sit down and acknowledge kind of the catalog that I've made and everything that I don't know. Sometimes I'll see stuff from 2, 3, 4 years ago, and I'm just like, damn, I can't believe how far I've come. And yeah, it's an honor to be here, and thank you and your community for embracing me. I truly appreciate it.
Well, I think it's a very impressive feat that you've been able to stick with it for, this long, but specifically every community that you seem to go into, at least in our kind of small area, everybody has grown a night owl. Everybody knows that when there's a drop, people are fighting and there's going to be issues, and it almost always is amazing. So it's cool to see.
That.
And it's got to be
we can stop each other the whole time. I was just saying I don't even remember what I was saying. Sorry for stepping on you, though. Go on, continue.
Oh, don't apologize to me. The whole point is to step on me on this show, apparently. Isn't that right, Johnny? No, I'm just kidding. But the growth year to year is amazing to see, even in the short, I'd say, well, we're almost going on 3 years on this podcast, but a year or so before that, where I really kind of grew my first night owl. It was Cookie Smasher was the first one I grew, actually.
Good one to start with.
Yeah, it was a wonderful plant and I was hooked. So unfortunately for me, I just can't get enough. So I think
yeah, I'm sitting here with a head full of Cosmic Queen, and it was one of the ones I know has stirred back and forth, and you were saying how you've grown so many over the years, and to see that one stir back into the pot, clearly it was something pretty special. But
yeah, I love that one. That's probably that and the Zamodelica are some of my all-time favorites of anything I've ever smoked in my life, and they're both so unique and different and such happy highs that they're just, I don't know, they're real special to me.
Yeah, it's got a super glow to it. Like the myrcene levels in it are dynamite. It's like those funky almost rotten mango, like they've been sitting out on the counter for a little too while, you know, all soft and gooey and brown. But yeah, it's uber sweet, and it cured out spectacular.
Nice.
I did not do the justice it deserved to get the full expression of it. But I'll tell you what, once I cured it and got it into a really good spot, man, those terps jumped out at me. Those mango ones were dynamite.
That's
and
great to hear.
Sat right next to a Valencia Kush, and so two almost like polar in a sense. But yeah, just absolutely spectacular. It makes me glow. I mean, it's a daytime medicine for me for sure.
That's
So
beautiful.
to hear that one stir back in, when I saw that one come up, my little Cosmic Queen, just absolutely had to.
We will for sure be touching on your love for the narrow life. Howling, unfortunately, is really kind of like a priest of the broad, more couch lock side of life, but you know, you can find that so easily. It's hard to find a really good daytime medicine, at least for me. So I appreciate that you keep seemingly finding it, because almost all of them seem to be something that you've selected.
Well, those definitely are tend to be what helped me most as far as focus and ADHD and depression and all the other stuff that we all deal with. So that's my go-to. I do like the broadleaf stuff as well. I'm just more biased, just particularly for daytime and active stuff. It's always the narrow leaves for me. But I do have plans to do more broadleaf as well, just not quite yet.
That's right.
We can only hope you keep putting it off inevitably. But
he won't even. Howling doesn't even like see the hybrid aspect into it. He's just like, oh no, that's just a total thin leaf. It's like, no, man, no. Too thin for me. Too thin for me.
Yeah, no, it is such a great thing though that you can have so many different offerings, because everybody's body chemistry is different.
Mm-hmm.
But with your bias towards the narrow, how do you test your broad without necessarily going like, damn, I've been smoking, I can't do shit, you know, I've been on the couch for a couple days?
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I tested. I smoke test everything, and just how it affects me is I've been fortunate enough that people seem to like what my palate likes as well, and the effects that I receive from stuff. And to see people have like the same exact reaction to stuff that I do is pretty cool. But as far as testing goes, yeah, it's just really smoking it. That's pretty much it. I wish I had a easier way to do it, or no, I mean, that's easy enough. That's the best way to do it. But I wish there was something. I mean, I've started getting into testing here in the past couple months, where I'm taking buds off from test grows and taking them to drop off and get tested for terpenes and cannabinoids and everything. And that's been pretty interesting to see. But yeah, really, it's just my whole career in this, and my whole life has just been smoking and finding what I enjoy and what works for me.
So when those descriptions that are coming out, are you doing all the writing for those?
Yeah,
it's incredible writing, man. It's one of the things that I caught real early on. Of course, you know, I like to paint with words too, and your descriptions are really spot on. I mean, it's similar to what I would see, the grasp of it, of people who talk about food and wine.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
Initially, the plan was to do like full depth write-outs for full length write-outs for like only the F4 stuff, and kind of the Secret Owl Society was literally just going to be the crosses and no descriptions at all. But then as I did more and more, I was just like, oh fuck, I kind of have to do this for all of them. But you will notice a lot of the stuff is super kind of personal to me, and I've the relationship with different clones and plants, and kind of my travels with it. I was reminiscing with my little cousin last night. I was like, man, that Cosmic Queen. All right, so it started in Maryland, went over to Spain, then to Colorado, and then it was finished to F4s in Massachusetts. And it was like, yeah, that's been with me all over the place, and you know, it's traveled, and I don't know, it's just that I've got really close relationships with a lot of these projects that I do, so it's pretty easy to write about stuff like that, where you're kind of emotionally invested and, you know, you're connected to it. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that. That's very nice, and it's something that I do take pride in, and I try to put accurate info out into the world so people know what they're getting.
And it's gonzo, dude. I can tell you're writing it. I can tell you're just flowing when you write it.
I appreciate that very much.
I can tell the style, man. I can for sure. I mean, and really the grasp of it, I think, gives set some standards, I think, with what people are doing around to really get into the descriptions of it. I know people love being able to find the right words for it and have those descriptions. So keep going on it, man. Don't, because that's a cool little archive to keep. I mean, for however many years and decades you'll continue doing this, like those words exist forever. So it's pretty damn cool.
Thanks, bud. I gotta update the seed finder. I'm slacking on that, but we're about
it's hard, man. It's hard to keep all that stuff together with a busy schedule, I can imagine. Testing all of them.
Do you have a background in culinary?
No, I'm just fat. I like to eat. I like to eat very, very good food. But no, I won a macaroni and cheese cook-off in Morgantown, West Virginia at one point. That was about the extent of my culinary skill set is macaroni and cheese. But
did you get a giant belt made?
No,
a fucking WWF belt, put that shit over my shoulder every street I'd walk down, just like, oh, you like that mac and cheese? Shit ain't mine.
Yeah, no, I need to do that. Glue little noodles to it and everything.
Yeah,
cheese.
That would be the coolest.
Maybe get some epaulets on your jacket. You know, some macaroni epaulets. Pretty cool.
If this seed thing doesn't ever work out, macaroni and cheese belt, and we can just tour the nation, dude. We'll throw it down.
Honestly, at that competition, somebody offered to buy the recipe from me, some restaurant tour there.
Oh,
and I was
shit.
like, let me call my grandma real quick. So I called her. No, absolutely not. Fair enough.
I got love for the grandma. That's a pretty badass. No, hell no, we're not taking money for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What you got there, Johnny? You burning it?
That White Widow I harvested.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was like, it's that cut I got from Monza. It's supposed to be like some old school fucking cut, but it definitely puts on a different fucking high than anything I've had before. Yeah, it's definitely different than what's in the arsenal at the moment. But that was a fun one to grow. I should have taken fucking cuts, but you know me, I'm lazy.
No, not you.
Yeah, no, I am. Dude, I'm so lazy. I got this other fucking this fucking the fuck is this? That pineapple muffin I was so excited about that I flipped in fucking flour as soon as they went in the tent. Never even got any veg cycle in the 4x4, and yeah, it was decent and we dried nice, and then I brought it back here to fucking trim up and forgot to fucking trim it. So I've been smoking on that. Even dry, it's not even fucking harsh. It still has terps, so it's like, fuck it. There's not much to the plant. It'll be gone in no time. Fucking lazy prick.
You could have framed that in so many different ways and made yourself seem like you were doing everything right. You didn't have to make it so negative. You could have been like, yeah, it's storing in my totes. It's actually curing right now. I'm just waiting before. Nah, dude. You made yourself sound like you're some dumb as shit. It's fine.
Too lazy to deal with it.
I get that, dude.
No, I'm getting ready to harvest that fucking banana runts. I'm actually doing that tomorrow. So that's pretty fucking excited.
Right on.
Is that a photo or an auto?
It's a photo.
Nice.
I don't grow autos too often.
Okay.
I don't fare well with autos. I don't have the lifestyle to grow autos. You got to pay attention to fucking harshly.
Sure.
And I just throw them in earth boxes and fucking big beds and forget about it.
What's the smell on the banana runs?
It's actually lemony and limey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get any sort of banana off of it.
No, not even like the green banana, like a plantain or anything like that yet.
No, but also I didn't crush this fucking grow either. This in an earth box, it's had like 6 fucking grows in it already. The sides are bulging out. I can't put any more fucking worm castings on top at this point. So it's like, yeah, when I flipped it, I was like, fuck, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I poured more castings on top and it came up and ate what it was gonna, but she don't have enough in her to run another fucking couple of weeks to fill out anymore. So after 8 weeks, she's done. But I got what I got, lemon and lime, but I'm not blaming anybody but me. Yeah.
No, lemon lime's awesome.
Yeah, can't complain with that. Also, again, Johnny, if you would have just said neglect tech, it would have sounded like you would have done what you were doing from the beginning.
Dude, I know, but I hate to overuse a fucking term. You know what I mean? Like grow me.
Yeah, that's not
okay,
necessarily.
Yeah.
Stop that.
Sorry.
Anywho, No, I'm just kidding. I wanted to say though, you after all that shit talking autos, what is your favorite auto though? Because it's kind of a coincidence.
Me?
No,
No,
it actually
Johnny.
is. No, it's been Bubblegum Queen.
Nice.
He does nothing but talk
Mhm.
shit on autos, right? But every time he's like, but the best auto I've ever grown is Bubblegum Queen. So
That's so funny. I've been going through my old seed stock. That's one that I've been looking for. Is my last of the Bubblegum Queen. I found the Mango Sunrise last night and some other old stuff. But yeah, that's what I want to get back into.
So
Dude,
then,
I got a pheno out of that. It was literally a pack of juicy fruit fucking gum.
That's awesome.
It was unfucking believable how much that shit was like. I was like unreal how much and every time I gave it to somebody else, they're like, holy shit, this is the fruitiest tasting weed I've ever had. This is different. It's like, yeah, because you've been growing fucking or smoking bag weed your whole fucking life.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, that is, and still to this day, it to me it is even better than the Hella Jelly. That has been my favorite terpene profile, and I just can't find it. And I wish you would come back with it.
Yeah. It's on the to-do list for sure. That was one I really enjoyed as well. It's funny you mentioned the juicy fruit. As I was going through the seeds, I found a pack that's supposed to be like F25 to F30 juicy fruit auto from some island in Canada somewhere. Someone sent them to me probably 8 years ago at this point, and I just never ran them because I didn't believe the story. But I was like, I should pop some of those. They're getting too old
see what
now.
happens. Yeah.
See what happens. So I've been getting more into my experimental phase. I just popped some 18-year-old TGA seeds the other night, and I only had 5 of them, but all 5 popped. So that was
damn.
After 18 years?
Yeah, say that again.
Holy
So you
shit.
18-year-old seeds and you had a full pop out of all of them?
Yeah, they're 17 or 18 years old.
Wow.
But yeah, they all 5 popped, and I popped a couple other packs that I've gotten more recently in the past 5 or 6 years from. Well, one was from an auction on Instagram, another was from a breeder on Instagram, and I got one out of about 25 seeds to pop on those for some reason. So
Yeah.
I put a damper in my spirits. I was feeling super confident after the TGA stuff popped. Just, let me start popping all these. Oh man,
You're like, I got this shit, man. I'll pop everything.
Yeah, but it lit a fire under my ass to start going through all the old seed stock and popping the stuff. I just popped a bunch of stuff from 2014 that I made and never really dug into. So I'm going to check some of those out finally. And yeah, I'm digging back into some of the older stuff that I made just before it gets too old that I can't pop it.
Does it, when you look at those seeds and you start to think about them, does they stir up like the memories of when you got them and all that sort of stuff? I mean, you must be going through names over and over and over and seeds and that sort of thing, but you catch those ones and you're like, holy shit, I remember that one.
Dude, every pack, I'm like, I remember where I was when I got this, why I got this. And I was telling Flam that I wanted to make a coffee table book where I just take a picture of every pack with like little notes of what
that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I was like, maybe I could sell them and give a pack away from the book. Like each book comes with a pack from the book.
That'd be pretty badass.
That would be rad.
I'd be able to grow all these. So I don't know. That's something on the to-do list at some point when I find myself with more free time.
Some tells you got a big to-do list.
Yeah.
It just keeps growing.
I was going to ask, often some of my favorite breeders are very creative types. I think it's almost like a necessity to get into it and to be any good at it. Mm-hmm. So how hard is it to maintain your creativity, but also have to like run the business side? Because it's got a hamper. I own my own business. I run it, but it's only machine shop. I'm not being creative out there, right? Like I get blueprints and do it, but how much does that hamper your creativity or how do you find the balance essentially?
Well, I'm 6 years into Night Owl at this point, and I've finally started to feel like I'm not exactly sure what the next kind of logo thing to do. As far as art stuff is concerned, that's the only issue with like my creativity hitting any sort of a brick wall. As far as plants are concerned, it's endless. I mean, there's so many things that I want to do and want to create, and it's just a matter of finding the time. But right now I'm having a tough time trying to come up with a good logo for the Whistling Diesel. And I've been like, well, we should do like a Hilux, like a little Toyota, because the dude Whistling Diesel on YouTube did like the Hilux ability test.
Yeah.
Maybe we do the front grill, and instead of it saying Toyota, it says Night Owl or something like that. And I don't know, I've just been having a tough time with coming up with something specifically for that one. And I've always kind of avoided doing strain specific stickers, but I felt like this one kind of deserved it. But I don't know, other than just kind of drawing blanks on that, and sometimes on the naming, creativity is still good to go in the plant space. Everything else is kind of, I'm figuring it out now. It's taken a little bit more effort than it has in the past, but we'll get there. It's just, I'm more discerning and selective and more kind of hypercritical with the logo stuff nowadays, just because it kind of has been built up by people around me, and it have set such a high standard with stuff that it's like I don't want to ever go backwards with anything. Like, how do I do something cool and unique and better for this one? So.
Yeah, especially when you
need to hire a fucking publicist at this point.
Yeah, dude, I do need to hire somebody to check my emails and DMs and all that stuff, because that is tough for me to sit down and take the time to do that when there's so much else that I'd rather be doing. And I mean, I got into this just loving gardening, and that was like the main thing, was loving growing these plants. And then to have to like figure out how to do the whole business side of it too is like a whole nother world. But I don't know, I've been blessed, honestly. I right place, right time with the right skill set, and it was no overnight thing. I mean, you can follow all the way back to like the beginning of my journey with this, and I think people kind of understand and appreciate and have followed along with everything as it's kind of happened. And like I said earlier, the fact that people like what I make, it's an honor. And for whatever reason, the palette thing and the effects just carry through for other people, whether they're dealing with some of the same stuff that I deal with on a daily basis or not. It just, people like happy, good vibe weed. So that's what I keep trying to bring.
Well, it's more than that. It's the stability in your genetics too, because I've grown shit autoflowers before, and never one of them has been yours.
I only release one plant from a seed stock. If I do a cross, it's a one plant cross, and that's it. And so you're going to get the same seeds every time. And if I do make multiple crosses of something, it's very rare that I'll release them. I'll usually just release the very best one. And sometimes I've sold some in bulk and given a bunch away in the past to farms that want to try out autos outdoors. But yeah, sorry, I forgot what the question was or what the comment was.
No, I was saying the stability in your genetics is like none of the other autoflowers out there. You've got quite a stability in your line that's just different. It's not just your terpene profile. It's not just your palate. It's the stability in your line. When you grow one of your plants, it's always going to be a female. It's like you never have femmes in your autoflower lines. Or herms in your autoflower lines. You never have these problems that you see on these Instagram fucking famous people that are
fast photos.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say never. I've definitely had some stuff herm in the past, and anybody that's doing this is going to deal with that. And, it's just part of nature and part of life.
Right.
And
nature and shit happens. I'm not saying never, but it's like,
yeah,
you hear about it less, you know what I mean? And
sure.
Usually there's an underlying issue. But there's definitely a quality difference in your genetics, and I've seen it. And because I don't like to grow autoflowers, because it's like there's not many trustful breeders out there that have put the fucking time in, and it's just I don't live the lifestyle to baby them and fucking watch them all the time. And it's a bravo, sir. I'll say that.
That's something that never changes. Every time I'm popping seeds, I'm always like, man, I hope I don't fuck these up. I got to be down here every day with them and make sure they're good. And yeah, it always keeps me on my toes. So I appreciate that about them, because it keeps me involved. And yeah,
I was going to say, some people like me enjoy that, because you get the first couple weeks of the life, and when they go boom, it's every day is different.
Like, I know I was a good papa.
Yeah,
Howling's shaking his head agreeing.
Those first 4 weeks suck ass. No way.
I hate it, man. It's too much fucking
But it hits like day 28, and it's like, this is wonderful. Like, okay, you're cruise control now. I don't have to do shit. Yep. But those 28 days to see what she's gonna do and how you may have messed her up. Like, I always have an auto tent, but man, do I hate popping auto seeds just for that, because it's like, what am I gonna fucking do wrong here? Mm-hmm. And it's always something. Like, I have an auto going now where she's like a really long vegger, and I'm just sitting here freaking. And then she hit like day 28, started stretching. I'm like, okay, I didn't do nothing. All right, it's okay. It's gonna be fine. But like, yeah it takes years off my life.
I mean, it's better to have it veg longer than shorter. That's for sure. So I think whatever you're doing good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. You know, it's fun, especially if you know you messed up and you're like, yep, I thought I got away with that one, but I sure as heck didn't.
But even still, I mean, I still say when you mess up, you just kind of, if you can have them. I mean, the Cosmic Queen is a perfect example, right? I mean, in the 5 in the room, I probably should have gotten rid of the 5th one. And I'm like, it's Cosmic Queen, man. I've been waiting for this for a while. So I just let it ride, right? I was like, see what I can get out of it. Yeah, she was only like 2.5, 3 foot tall. Dynamite. Right? I know I could have done more, but I just left her in there. So there's a certain level of acceptance with that for me. And I just want to see them express and see how they get. Because it's happened to me 1 or 2 other times where I was like, I just didn't give it justice, and I felt like Trop was one of my absolute favorites from the very first. It's like I think something didn't go right with it, but it was spectacular. I grew it again, and it expressed itself fully, and it was a gorgeous flower, absolutely dynamite, and so glad that I grew it the first time and got the results I did, and was like, I want more. So same thing with Cosmic Queen. It'll probably make its rotation back in. So.
Was that Trap Whiz from the first drop? Do you know? Was that like 2019?
Yes, sir.
I found a pack of those in like the original packaging last night. I can send you if you'd be interested. You can
Dude, I would love that, man.
Stuck. Yeah, I mean, they should pop.
That would be awesome. I would definitely give that a ride. That'd be friggin' awesome, bro.
Yeah, I got you. It's so funny.
Yeah,
I was like, what do I do with these? I found a couple. I think a trade bait, and it was like back when I was numbering the packs.
Yeah.
At one point, I even would put people's names, like their Instagram handles, on the packs too, like customized, like personalized pack and stuff. But eventually, I just started getting a little bit too busy to be able to sit there and print out the label.
Your hand cramped.
Yeah.
At what point you're like, okay, 780. That's my limit, man. Like, next drops, I'm not doing this.
That would be awesome, dude. I would for sure be honored for that one. So, in fact, I was just chatting about it with someone that I know pretty close, and is just getting started in the game, and I was talking about it, and he's like, "Man, see if I can get some." I think I got a couple of my old seeds back there. So, yeah, dude, that would be awesome.
Definitely get those sent out. No
for
problem.
Sure. Yeah, that was one of my absolute favorites. But I think, to circle back, like I always give them a chance.
Circle even back. How did you drop that yet again?
Can I say, dude?
Professional. I gotta say, it's too professional. I get weird. Do you practice? Like,
no,
you practice?
No, just been around the bend a couple times. But I even circled once, and I'll try back to circle back again to it. But I love keeping those little ones around. If not, I throw them in a bonsai. Mm-hmm. And I typically I'll pop like 2 seeds in the same pot, 2 or 3 seeds in the same pot, and then I just throw one over in bonsai and run those all the way out. So whatever happens. I always like to just have fun with them. But and I don't like to get rid of them, and I'll take the runts. I mean, hell, I was a runt, so look at me.
Sometimes they'll surprise you too. Sometimes they're just slow veggers to start, like specific genetics, like the Chem 91 and the crosses are always just slow to start, and they always have me second guessing myself. I'm like, are these stunted? And I'm like, no, just let them ride. And sure enough, they just take a little bit longer to they work more on their roots at first, and then they start to really shoot after that.
Yeah,
they're a little bit slower to start, but man, they pack on quick.
That Valencia Kush was that way for sure. I was like, oh, she's just going to be kind of an average, and then she took the whole room over. Yeah, really blew that one up. I was duly impressed. I even had her up front because I thought she was going to stage out and let everyone in the back. And within weeks, I was like, nope, she's taking over the room. She's got it. So, yeah.
Nice.
Howler, I know you've got a couple little treats in your tent from the Parliament. So can you say anything about this?
Well, right now I don't have any night owl autos going, but I do have a photo if we can talk about it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
right. Because I have a couple questions. Like, so I'm running Pheno C, which is the Hippie Slayer crossed with Durban Poison, and I got to say, like, everyone's pictures and even the ones I'm growing, the fattest damn leaves on these things. It's just Jurassic Park going on in there, and I love it. It pisses Rev off, but it's just great to look at. And I'm curious, like, so you released 5 crosses, and then Durban Poison Cell S1.
Yep, yeah, I'm
You're
gonna
working on?
It's just to see which one's which year because I don't have the A, B, C, D, E, F memorized. I know E was the Sour Diesel Cross, D was the S1,
And
A
then
was the Chem D.
you got them right so far.
Let's
I
see,
had to pull it up in
B's
front of me. I
Piff.
only knew C.
B is the Piff. You said C
Yep.
is the Hippie Slayer.
Yeah, it
so
is.
we got the Jeezel and
You
what
I
else?
think you hit them all. Yeah. So I'm just curious, like, so Durban Poison, like, what made you want to work with that and make some crosses out of it?
So it just fell into my hands. It came to me as a mislabeled cut, and I grew it out, and it immediately transported me back to the Durban that I grew in 2014. I was working at a print shop at the time, and I had some in my pocket, and I walk in, and this dude's just like, "Oh my God, you smell like Jesus." I was like, well, like, it was just so loud and so incredible. And my best buddy, Ian, who helps with the drops and stuff, he was there in Maryland when I was growing it the first time, and he came up to smell it, and we'll do some other stuff too. But he came up and was just like, "Dude, this is insane. Like, it's exactly the same. Like, it's spot on." So after that, I was like, "All right, I'm going to make some seeds with this and move on because, space is kind of tight with all the different stuff I've attempting at the time." So I was like, let me make some S1s, and I've got these other things here, so let me hit these two. I've got it all going. So it was just kind of a for fun thing to do, something I wanted to lock down and preserve to have in seed form in the future, and yeah, that was really the genesis of that.
I thought it was pretty cool because I think I heard someone make the case where, like, when we talk about indica and sativa, we think broad and narrow leaf, but like that's not really what it translates into, and you can't count on it. And then because like all of these and multiple phenos all have really fat leaves, and even I think our buddy Growing Minute is growing D, which is the selfed one or the S1, and he has fat leaves too. But I mean, Durban Poison is narrow leaf, so it's like it's pretty cool just seeing that. Breaks some people's hearts, but it warms mine.
They'll definitely thin out a bit in flower, but in veg, you're right. They're Jurassic, man. They're monsters.
They really are Jurassic. It is an incredible. He had at one point his entire tent.
It was nuts,
completely full right before he flipped. And I swear to God, you could have filmed fucking Jurassic Park in that. It was incredible. It was also all incredibly healthy, which is insane because he was doing small pods.
Yeah,
exactly.
All the pictures are gorgeous that I've seen. So I appreciate you taking a chance and running some. And yeah, they were just completely untested. So I was hoping,
awesome.
People go into it fully aware of that and are still interested in doing it. And I had an overwhelming response. I was really blown away by how many people were interested in trying them out. So,
and there's still people like that jump on once in a while. We're like, "Oh, can we get a tester? Like, what? I want to jump in now."
Yeah, I got quite a few emails and DMs about that. Every time that's kind of why I haven't been posting about it as much on the main page and just kind of keeping it to like the behind the seeds and some of the other pages. It's just because an influx of people I've never interacted with in my life will hit me up and be like, "Hey, can I test these for you?" It's like, not this time, but I'll definitely consider you for the future if you grow some stuff out and post some pictures. That's like people with zero posts.
No, just send me free shit, dude.
Yeah, it's all fucking send me free shit. It's ridiculous.
And the structure on there, they're great. Like the one that is my favorite now, she is just this, like, she's not even short. She is actually a good height for right now because it's only like day 11 of flower. But she was the shorter one of the 4 that I was growing. And she's just like this bushy girl with these big ass leaves. And she's got a little personality on her. But they can take a lot. Like they all were super healthy. Like they didn't get finicky at all. And I didn't do my normal, like I usually do a solo cup to a gallon to the final pot. I just like that transplanting. I just went solo to the final pot, and they grew so large by day 34, I had to flip them. Like I have no room, and I've never had a plant. Like the vigor on them was just awesome.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, that Hippie Slayer is real nice too, man. That's super skunky and garlicky, and
that's what it was. Oh, so I wasn't losing my mind. I'm terrible about smells and stuff. I just can't do it. But I was
losing your mind now.
I had to get down on the floor.
Can't do it. He says he can't fucking do it, and he nails it every time he fucking does it.
You know how
fucking annoying it is? I can't do it, and you nail it every time you fucking do it.
It just smelled like someone was like cutting up garlic for a pasta sauce or something. I was down on the ground like cleaning up some mess, and the tent was open next to me, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that? It's like, I'm not growing garlic in this damn thing. And it's like, it was strong. It's good. I can't wait.
Yeah, she's a good one. I was super stoked to have gotten that plant and to be able to put it to use with something else that I loved. It was real cool. I ended up losing all my moms over the Christmas break, so all those I had planned on hitting to autos as well. But now I'm kind of rebuilding the collection and starting from square one. I've got the piff and the pineapple piff and a double delay and some other stuff, but yeah, I lost like 40 moms over the Christmas break when I went to visit family. So that's
part universal reset, dude.
Yeah,
universal reset.
Yeah.
No, it was probably knowing you wanted to turn them into an auto.
two polar didactic versions right there.
I don't want to spoil too much of Howling's upcoming projects. He has one that is very similar, but we often find, and we don't have to name names, but we often find there are people out there who just despise autos for whatever reason. And I don't know why they have some super beef with it, but it happens quite frequently. So do you have any insight into why you think people do? I think it's because they're insecure about change or something, or whatever reason, but I can't think of any other reason.
I like to give, in my mind, the benefit of the doubt and just say, you haven't tried an auto in 20 years and 10 years and 5 years, so you have no idea how good they've become. And because you can't picture somebody putting the work in to create something better. We're talking about Todd McCormick, and I
thank you fucking God. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
When he first offered seeds, I reached out to him and was like, man, would you mind if I purchase some of these to use to breed into autoflowers? And he just responded, why would you want to breed this like God's golden gift of a plant into that trash? And like, okay, fair enough. So I sent him cash for the seeds, and I also included a bunch of packs of stuff, including the Cosmic Queen, with a note being like, you've never tried, I guarantee you haven't had flavors like this before. Like, this is so unique, and I just wanted to show you how far it's come. And of course, I never heard back from him, but I think he did follow me after that. I think that was probably the genesis of him starting to follow me. And he's always kind of followed as like what I'm assuming is a hate follow type thing, to where it's like,
dude, he's a fucking troll.
Yeah. So I don't know what he's got going on in his personal life right now, but he's led a very full life that's been filled with nonstop incredible and not so incredible things, constantly keeping him busy throughout his life. And maybe he's like more bored now and sitting at home and could use some entertainment. And when like the post popped off and he came on and everybody was talking shit back and forth to each other, I was like, all right, maybe I should not share this on my page, because I know that's where he saw it at. And then I just DM'd him and I was like, dude, like, I don't know, I respect you and appreciate all you've done for the plant over the years. I took this post down because I didn't want it to like get out of hand. And he was just like, oh no, dude, I love this stuff. This is like the most fun I've had in a week. I was like, all right, we'll put it back up then.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, he's having a good time with it.
Well,
that's
I think
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I think there's always a generational handoff. And I think that there's always, if there's something that's been set in its way, I mean, you see it in any creative outlet, right? If it's people are set in their ways and there's someone that's coming and doing something different and new and unique and trying to look at a different perspective of things, like any other art form, like any other expression of winemaking or food or culinary or anything along those lines, like there's always going to be someone that's like, that's just the dumb way of doing it. And it's just a new way of finding it. And clearly it's making its way. Clearly it's making a bigger impact than what they thought it was 10, 15 years ago. And to be frank with you, more and more people are seeing it as an option every day, and every seed bank that they go into, it's not going to be long before people don't see anything different. In fact, and there are commercial growers that are definitely considering and definitely use autoflowers and have been using autoflowers for years and years and years. for the same reason that people start tomatoes in greenhouses, so that you can get the first thing out into the market right away. It's been done. Like, now it's just really taken hold and become more mainstream. And that's always a challenge for any old head that learned a very coveted way. I mean, I saw it generationally. I started cooking when I was 15. And so it was still a very closed, apprenticeship style of cooking. And this was before TV shows. And so to get someone like that to give you information, and if you tried to do something new or show them something that was being worked on, that's not the way this is. So it comes with, I think, every form of creative expression. It's just, I think Rev said it really well. It's insecurity, right? Just an insecurity.
I mean, this happens in my field a lot. There's this concept of the old guard and the new guard. And I mean, it happens in every field. And I think it's just this thing where the old guard they had to fight from nothing. They had to fight when things were against them and odds were against them. It wasn't the hip thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And so like they built an identity off of being that and doing something. And I think there's just at some point where they are just resisting. Yeah, they're resisting that the handoff of the baton a little bit. And the new guard's coming in saying, hey, we want to build off of what the culture and the foundation you built, but we have these other ideas. We have where things can go. And that's kind of like how Autoflowers is in this space. It's the passing of the baton, and there are the new guard come into the scene that have new ideas of where this can go. And I think instead of fighting that, you have to embrace that next level. And otherwise you're going to destroy the whole thing. I mean, the whole thing you built, you're going to destroy over your pride in what you started and an unwillingness to pass it off. Like, great things come when you pass it on to the next generation. You help them be successful. Like, you're not gonna, like, Todd and all of them are not gonna live forever. It's gonna be these young people coming in and carrying it on. So, do you want it to die? That's your legacy, is to die with you? It's like, no. Like, you have to empower the others to come in and do it and to continue on that work. So, I'm hoping people, and he's not the only one. There's been plenty of this old guard that just wants to hang on to the lore of 70s and 80s cannabis culture and getting arrested and fighting for it. And they want to hold on to that so much, but they're doing it at a detriment of everything else. As much as I may not
spend your life saying it's a fucking plant. You can't spend your life saying it's a fucking plant and then not treat it like a fucking plant. Us as humans have been breeding plants for the benefit of us through our entire fucking civilization. Like, since civilization, we've been breeding plants to get better for us. So it's ridiculous to preach your entire fucking life and say you're for this fucking plant and get hemp out. Fucking suck a dick.
They can't ignore.
How do you really feel?
Dude, no, it's bullshit because this guy has a voice, and then he goes on bigger shows with bigger fucking credibility, and he shits on fucking shit that he just doesn't understand for what? To fucking get his jerks off? Fuck that guy, man. It's bullshit.
Because people love negative stuff for whatever reason. It's to the detriment of us all that we took this wonderful internet that we could learn anything on, and we constantly compare and shit on other people. But we're fucking human beings, right? So we took brilliance and we created this. The best we can do is balance. And I think Daz does the sensible thing constantly and ignores and goes, okay, we can do better and do better things. However, that's not to say that they're not all fucking idiots, and we can all agree.
Well, and I think there's something to be said about the kind of social fabric that we're in, the times that we're in now, and growers now. When you look at growers 10, 15 years ago, they needed large spaces. They were growing outdoors and clandestine. With more legality coming and more home growers that are buying tents and more technology and more availability to these things, to grow autoflowers is probably a better option for folks. It's easier in many ways from a size perspective, and coming into starting to grow and to garden indoors, and it just opens up so many doors. I think where we are now is so very different than where we were from these growers 7, 8, 9 years ago, that autoflowers really are an aspect of what the future of growing will be, the approachability of home growing. I just think it's something that takes away a lot of the variables, as challenging as some folks can find it. And I'm not saying that it's not easy, and there are mistakes that can happen. And you know, like I said at the beginning of this, like true testament to them. But the reality is you don't have to worry about the lights. You don't have to worry about as much of the environmental aspects as you do with photo periods. And as a brand new growers going forward and being able to grow in your basement, autoflowers are very ideal. They've been brought up through genetics to express themselves with incredible terpenes that meet or match or go above and beyond photo periods. So
it's also nice for new growers to see if they really want to commit a lot of energy resources to it, because you know you can get in, try it.
Moms ain't early, and that's the only argument is keeping moms these days.
Yeah,
and it ain't easy.
The end goal, right, for my entire life has been to have it completely legal across the board and it just be something you use as a medicine, right? Mm-hmm. For that to ultimately happen, don't we want the grandmothers growing autoflowers on their patio like they grow cherry tomato plants? So then wouldn't that be, like you said, the ideal introduction? Put this outside in an earth box, see what happens at the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That would get everybody, you know?
Yep.
You have your old sweet Irish grandmother out there growing cannabis on the patio, just like tomatoes would be my dream.
Yeah, and I think
now the dude did have a good point or a good fucking story. Do you buy any into the bullshit about ruderalis and whatever the fuck?
If he's upset that everyone in the industry has been calling it the wrong thing, and he knows he has proof that Finola is the auto flowering, that is what carries the auto flowering trade. Why would I care? That doesn't bother. I'll change.
Yeah,
I say
show the receipts.
I'll say Finola. It makes no difference to me
if it's the receipts. But his whole shit is based on his receipts, right? His story.
Yeah,
his whole fucking sales pitch is based on his story. His story is getting old.
Are you guys familiar with Dutch Cincy? He does like these earthquake predictions on YouTube, and a lot of people dislike him. I love him. I think it's amazing to listen to him, and you know, it's fun. He's a fun person to listen to. But anyway, he's very intelligent, very smart. One of his relatives was the person that classified ruderalis like 100 years ago. It was literally in like 100 years ago, and so part of that classification was early flowering. So I don't know what exactly Finola hemp is. I've never heard of it until 2 weeks ago or whenever Todd McCormick made that post. But if that's his secondary main issue, other than the fact that you can't keep moms, sure, Todd, I'll call it Finola.
You can call me Al. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it literally has no impact on anything. But I do have a mission now. I'm going to keep an eye out for events and stuff that he's going to and try to fly out and sneak him some photo bud without him knowing. It's the only way it's going to change his mind on anything, honestly.
Fuck that guy.
Even then, it changed his mind until he found out. But I think stubbornness would probably keep him.
Yeah, it's either that or turn his haze or his skunk or something into auto and then give that to him without knowing.
His skunk isn't skunk.
Well, funny.
His skunk
funny.
Isn't skunk.
I didn't want to give away Howling's project, but I think because of that, you can do it, Howling.
Well, I mean, this started off with really good intentions. So I mean, definitely am a fan of the broadleaf, and our buddy Alabrije has a strain. It's Samosa OG, and I love it. Everyone's loved it. It's just a hard hitting medium to broadleaf plant, and I like it so much that I offered to do a seed preservation. It'd be my first one, and I'm like, well, it'd be kind of cool to stick some things in the tent, get pollinated. Let's see what happens out of it. And we both clicked like at the same time. It's like Northern Lights, and I bought the 1.5 and whatever the other one is. So I bought all three, and I'm like, all right, we're gonna get it. We're gonna hit them and see what comes out of it. So it started off with really good intentions. Mm-hmm. Then this stuff all started, and me and Alabrije were like, we're fucking doing it now. And we're gonna make Northern Lights an auto. All right. And I'm sorry,
when I was in Colorado, Jay Dark Horse ran a bunch of the packs of skunk out there and ended up picking a male and hitting a marathon auto with it. Nice. I don't know if he's ran those any further, but yeah, and this wasn't out of spite at all. It was out of admiration and the fact I wanted these old
It's
genetics.
got a good story
format. So that's why I was like, well, let me try this. But as it's kind of progressed and he's just said some kind of out of pocket shit, I'm like, yeah, this can be put to the back burner. It's like, I've got other stuff that I'm more passionate about doing than this project now.
I'm a lot more petty, and I'll do it. But I have to say, it did start with good intentions. I'm like, what better thing than to take something that's like called the purest indica, and like, how could I not want to do something with that? And I heard him on another podcast, First Smoke of the Day, I think, and I really loved the stories and everything. I didn't even actually hear of or know much about Todd before that, but I'm like, I mean, this dude's been through it. And I'm like, I would love to get some of these seeds and see what happens. So I will still try to keep those good intentions at heart when I do this, because I don't want to pass on bad negativity or anything. Yeah. But there's a petty side of me also. It's just like, all right, this is going to be even better now. It's like the icing on it.
It's more like to prove him wrong, to disprove him, and
like
a little bit, show him.
And I'm gonna have Alabria helping me with this too. Like, this is gonna turn out to be something. I mean, we might find something really nice out of this, and what better person to help me? And maybe it'll be something like, after you have worked him in a little bit on the autos, maybe it'll be something you want to try someday. Who knows?
The purest indica are beautiful plants too, man. All the pictures he posts of them are really, really nice looking.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for it. It's gonna be fun. I actually just bought a whole new tent setup so I could do this. I should stop dragging my ass and actually start. I think I've been telling Alabria sent me his samosa seeds like months ago. I'm sure he's waiting for this. So yeah, better get started.
Yeah, but yeah. There you go. We'll circle back to the old.
Fucking he's in the circle now, dude. You're in this now. You're in it now, Des. You're just always welcome now because you can fucking circle back. So.
I feel like so before Old Guard and New Guard is concerned, I almost feel like I'm kind of straddling that line to where I did go through some of the same, stuff that they went through, and growing in places that weren't so friendly, and when it wasn't such an open thing to do. So like, I know what these guys went through, and I respect and appreciate that. And I always that's always internally, I'm always kind of feeling that. But at the same time, part of me just wants to be like, fuck you, dude. Like, try this stuff. You're not speaking truths or facts anymore. This was true years ago, but now it's just like, you're stuck in this mind warp of these things are no good. I explained it to him last time I checked. We were like 60 or 70 generations removed from any joint doctor, lowrider, like any of that stuff. And it's just constant progression damn near every time. I mean, not all projects work out that way, but yeah, he can't fathom the fact that, they have progressed past whatever the ditchweed that he tried was. But we'll get him. We're going to get him.
How far back does your work go with autoflowers?
Like, when did I first start?
Yeah, how long you been doing it?
I think I started growing them around 2011, something like that. I'd have to go back and check blog posts and kind of.
I believe you. It seems like you've been doing it a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when probably 2011 or so is when I got on autoflower.net and really, really sunk my teeth into the whole concept of it, and kind of just was off to the races from there. And my thing was like seeing people do the work the right way and bringing photos to autos, because I had bad auto experiences and I was like, these suck. And then I tried good autos and I was like, well, fuck, there's a way to do it the right way. So instead of ever taking I'm just going to cross an auto to auto mentality, it was like, there were so many photo periods that I wanted to work. I just immediately kind of jumped into the photo to auto conversion stuff. And then afterwards started messing with auto to auto stuff. So I kind of like took a backwards approach into it, but I think it taught me a lot more quickly than if I would have just done straight up auto to auto crosses. But
is that because you have to work the same line so many times to get full auto, or is there just something else?
As far as learning stuff?
Yeah, like how it was a better learning experience.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're dealing with full photos in the F1 generation, so that's another backup of your photo period knowledge. And you go to the F2s and you have to deal with both and navigate your way through selecting those and timing that all out and keeping the autos happy, and then keeping the photo stuff alive long enough to be like, all right, well, this is for sure a photo now, because the other stuff's been, showing pistols for 2 or 3 weeks, and all right, I'm going to start culling some of these. And I mean, sometimes the F2 stuff, the photos will start to sex early. And I've had a couple cases where I've transplanted up photo periods thinking they were autos, and been like, oh, I got one more plant to collect from. And it's like, no, not quite. Yeah, it's just the whole process is really, I don't know, hands-on and involved, and you get to really be intimate with the plants. So I think it was just doing it all and trying to wrap my head around it all and just diving into it, head first, kind of was a better experience for me than just doing auto to auto stuff immediately. Although I could be wrong. Maybe I would have, I don't have that experience to actually say, so I could definitely be wrong on that too.
Well, we can be thankful that you did, because a lot of autos on the market are because of you currently, whether you had a hand in creating that cross or not. A lot of people use your stuff as backbone. And that's also because you release regs, which I think is a wonderful thing and really, I guess, shows that you care for the community, because not many people would do that.
Yeah, no, Full Duplex had some really good regs. Back in the day, there was Auto Flower Portal and Stone put out a bunch of regs. But other than that, there really wasn't much available. And particularly with the Chem 91 stuff, I was like, well, this has been such a backbone in the photo period community. I should release this as auto reg so people can use it and expand upon it and try to make it kind of a backbone for auto flower breeding moving forward. And that Chem 91 stuff, man, I feel like it's really underrated. That shit is so good, so potent, so flavorful. The plants are medium sized. They're not the biggest plants, but man, every single one is just so nice to me. I really, really love those.
Isn't that what Grateful did his fucking preservation with?
No, I think he used 91 grapefruit.
Yeah.
Grapefruit. Gotcha.
Well, there's something really there's a lot of grace in releasing regs like that, and like it's really almost inspirational for everyone to go out and kind of do their own thing, to be able to say, it's like you were saying about that old guard, new guard. There's a certain aspect of it. It's like, hey, fucking take it, make it work, like make this better than what I can do with it. Go have fun with it. There's something gracious about that, and being able to release that, because you could be holding on to that in your archive. I mean, some of those are spectacular ones that now are out there, and like we were all saying, are the backbones of someone else's. And there's something cool about that. And it's one of those, like, it's one you kind of hope like 10, 15, 20 years down the road, when, things are completely different and you're in a completely different lifetime from now, and someone's going to be like, oh yeah, there was these cuts that came through, or these beans that came through. And you're like, yeah, I was right. That was me. And on that note, like, what's fascinating you for the next round? I mean, like, what's out there? I mean, what's fascinating you and really getting you excited for what's to come?
Going through my old seed stock, man, it was really, really nice. And I was like, there's so many things that I had forgotten about over the years that I picked up. But right now, I mean, as far as soon to be released projects, I'm working on the Banana OG Auto, which I'm really excited about. The Whistling Diesel, which is the AJ Sour Diesel Auto. Super excited about that. I just found the Sunset Sherbet, Purple Punch, and the Do-Si-Do.
Wait, what?
Huh?
How just
I thought I lost these. They were seeds that I completely thought I had lost. So I was stoked to find those the other night. And that was one that I actually had to remake the F1s on, because I did a outdoor pollination. I put him at a buddy's house, and he had a male outdoors, and I didn't know that, and he didn't know that until it was too late. So that ruined the first batch of them. So I went back and remade them again, and then made the F1s. We got the F2s now, so I'm gonna start popping those here soon. And I don't know. I got a bunch of.
Where's the pre-order link for these?
No.
Right.
Just remember, remember
like
the negative
sweet
things that he said about autos when it comes time for that Do-Si-Do, and you say, you know what, you've been banned, sir.
No. I will. That's exciting. Like, Do-Si-Do for me it's my white elephant. I didn't start smoking until I was 4 years ago, when I was 41. Mm-hmm. I never really smoked before that. And it was Do-Si-Dos that got me into it. My wife was this is when medical program came around Illinois. And so she started doing, consuming for pain, and she got Do-Si-Do one time. I opened up this jar and I'm like, oh, I love the smell of this. Like, I have to try it. Like, don't smoke, but I got to try it.
Mhm.
It had me staring at a table for an hour with not a single thought in my head, blissfully dumb.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is it. Like, this is what, and I've been chasing it ever since. So I am super excited about that one.
I'm a big fan of Do too. Out of all those projects, that's the one that I'm popping first for sure.
So cool. I'm actually curious. So when we talk about like these photo to auto conversions, you've done like, you got Dark Owl, you did the Sin City collab. I'm not exactly sure if you've worked with other photo breeders, but it's clear that like you find these photo breeders, there's something about what they do and there's something about what you could do and you marry them together. Have you ever been able to convert the other side? Have you worked with photo breeders and then they've tried out this gear, or you've convinced them to run auto flowers and they've been a closet auto flower grower after that?
No, it's funny. Everyone I work with is like, this is what you do. You put this much effort and space and resources into it. Like with Sin City, we went back and forth, and he was like, dude, we got to charge more for these. I can't charge more for my F1s than you're charging for F4s. And like, the amount of work that you put in and the selections that I did on them, he was like, we got to charge more for it. And that's something I always wrestle with too, is the pricing and trying to stay afloat in this race to the bottom. So, no, every photo breeder I've worked with has been like, this is difficult. This is hard to do. So they have a new respect for it afterwards. That's for sure.
That's awesome. I will say,
to do it on a production level is unreal.
Yeah, it's amazing what you do, especially for how quickly you had managed to get so many quality offerings in such a short period of time. The amount of work I've heard stories that you've told. It is backbreaking, and the amount of stress you go through to put these on is legendary. But we appreciate it, of course.
I wish I wasn't known for my stress levels, but I appreciate that you appreciate it. But yeah, man,
from my position, it's all gravy, dude. So keep it up.
I mean, being lonely and single in a place where you have no friends, you pick up hobbies and you tend to go full bore into them. So that was kind of how it started. Was, I was just by myself down in South Carolina. It was me and my dog, and didn't really meet people. I'm pretty I don't know, I stick to myself. So anyway, to be able to have a relationship with people online through the plant was super cool, and just the progression that you can see in just a few generations is so inspiring that it really makes you want to do more and do more. And there's I don't know, I feel almost a responsibility to try to get this work out there while I'm like still around. I feel like not many people are putting in the effort or can potentially dedicate the time and space that it takes to actually do it properly and not be making money off of, F1 through F3 of the stuff. So it's like, it's just a little bit of dedication and a lot of insanity, to be completely honest.
I'd say the reverse of that, dude. I'd say a lot of dedication and just the right amount of insanity.
You might be right.
It's a creative spirit, dude. And I think that's, clearly that you got art in your blood. Mm-hmm. My guess is that you've got another creative outlet outside of this that's got some sort of creation of something that happens, right? And I think that you just care about what you do. And it's like one of the chefs that I used to work with really taught me like the essence of, so many people just try and do one thing and do it really well. Mm-hmm. And it's really a stacking of doing everything all along the way really, really well, and not really caring about what the final result is that you kind of have an idea of what that finished dish is. But if you pay attention at every single step of the way, from every moment, and you do it right, and you do it just really focused, that in the end, the final result is way better than if you tried to make something specifically. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think it's that creative process that you put into it that, hey, I don't really know where this is going. Mm-hmm. I don't know what this is going to be, but I just got to do it. It's a burning passion, right? I think that's the heart of a creative.
Yep. It's never ending, and you never know what you're going to find either too. That's kind of the fun thing about from popping photo period seeds. It's like, all right, well, I'm familiar with the parents, but what's this cross going to actually bring to the table? So there's always something exciting and fresh right around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always something that starts sparking that interest and energy into like, oh, I want to learn more about this, or this is going to take me down this rabbit hole.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it would just be a business, right? And you probably, at this stage of the game, you wouldn't have been prolific as prolific as you are had it just been a business case. Because shit, if you talk to a business advisor, I'm sure they would have told you to quit a long time ago.
Close now, yeah.
No, I've
What are
had
you doing?
plenty of offers from farms to make my seeds for me and do the whole white label route. And if I was in this for business and strictly financial gain, that would be the no-brainer move to do.
Mhm.
But I can't sign off with something with my name on it that I didn't make. It's just not in my blood to do that. So yeah, it's me from start to finish, for better or worse. And that's at the end of the day, and everything falls squarely on my shoulders. And I like it that way.
That is absolutely wonderful. I've heard there's a difference because you're different. I think it fits perfectly. Now, see, we're going to end on a somewhat positive, but then I was going to say, listen, in typical Yag fashion, we're going to bring
guy
it
just
in.
said there's a difference because you're different. I love it.
Yeah.
It's poetic.
I love it.
It's beautiful.
Anywho, I was going to say, in typical Yag fashion, we're now going to ruin it we have a series of questions that we ask. At no point is this going to make sense. So just go with it, Johnny.
This is the circle, dude. This is
Yeah,
the
I
circle.
know,
can
but
still
it's a
ask the same
special
question,
occasion,
too.
dude.
All right. I forgot the fuck. I wasn't even thinking about it. What's the first seed you ever planted, and why was it an apple seed?
Because I wanted some fruit years down the road.
So it was an apple seed.
No, I was just playing along. No,
No, this is even dumber.
was the
These
best
aren't even like
answer.
riddles. These are just really strange questions that we started asking. When we started
Cleveland.
this podcast, we didn't know what to ask our guests,
Mhm.
right? We thought coming up with questions beforehand would be smart. So we tried it. These are the questions that we came up with on a
On the
cannabis
Yeah.
fucking podcast. This is a cannabis growing podcast. Johnny, continue.
What's your favorite pie, and why is it apple pie?
Probably because it's best with vanilla ice cream, and I can't eat pie without ice cream. So apple pie is the only choice for me. In reality, pumpkin pie is my favorite. I would get that instead of my birthday cake. I'd get pumpkin pie. So,
Really awesome.
but yeah, apple pie has been my favorite since I was a kid.
My actual favorite pie is blueberry, or my mom and grandma made a pumpkin cream, but it's like half pumpkin pie, half whipped cream with like chocolate chips in it. That shit is good on a graham cracker crust. Yeah.
Is your grandma still around?
Yeah.
No, she passed.
I'm sorry.
unfortunately.
Yeah, mine too. Sorry.
Yeah.
That sounds phenomenal. Do you have the recipe? Is it still like a?
I think mom does. Yeah. Yep.
Well, if you ever get it, send it my way, because that sounds right up my alley. My favorite dessert I've ever had was a pumpkin bread with chocolate chips in it. And it was just
Really?
Yeah.
yeah. I was living in South
good to know.
Carolina. There was this little New York deli, and the wife was really big into baking, and she would make all these different breads. And I got to be on really good terms with them because I was in there every day. So I was like, "Could you try experimenting? Could you try making me this?" And she did, and it was just blew me away. It was everything I imagined and more. It was so good. So
That's awesome.
yeah, chocolate and pumpkin, super underrated.
Hell yeah.
That's a great food memory. What else you got, Johnny?
What's your favorite fruit, and why is it an apple?
I like a plum with a dark interior. I don't care so much for the white
Interesting.
fleshy plums, but the purple extra juicy ones, something about it. I don't know. They're phenomenal. I love the texture, the crisp bite into the soft and kind of gooey pulp of it. The juice and everything.
Bitter in the back end here when they're just ripe enough. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good juice running down your chin when they're super ripe.
Yeah. And I find it's hard to find the purple ones anymore. You find them with the purple skin, but then you bite into it and it's white flesh. But every once in a while, I'll find them somewhere, and yeah, they're phenomenal.
Hell yeah. All right, now these ones are a little less ridiculous. You walk into a pizza shop for the first time. You're just grabbing a slice of pizza. This is the first time you're there. Are you going cheese or pepperoni?
cheese unless they have a specialty. If there's something that they're known for, if they're a Sicilian, they have a special Sicilian pie or anything like that, still cheese. But yeah, as far as slices go, yeah, always got to start with the base first. Same for ice cream. If I go to an ice cream spot, I always try the vanilla first to see if I'm going to like anything else, knowing that that's their base.
That'll show you their method and technique. I'll tell you that much. You can't hide behind flavor.
I do agree. You got to go pepperoni because it's pepperoni's better.
Well, you just need salt, so that's why I'd have to just I mean that's what the pepperoni brings, is salty and meaty.
Well,
I
just assume the pizza's going to be bad more oftentimes than not, and at least pepperoni makes it somewhat more like I could eat it.
Last time I was coming up, actually, it was when I was coming back up north from Christmas. There's a Granda Pizza is the name of the place in Connecticut, and it's just phenomenal. So I didn't eat the whole drive up. I was counting on this spot to be open, and half an hour out, I call them to place my order, and they were like, "Oh, we had an emergency. We're closing early tonight." Oh, fuck!
No.
Yeah, so I found a new place in Connecticut that was even better. I couldn't believe it. It's just some little hole in the wall joint, and just ordered the plain cheese pizza, and I got a calzone for later. And yeah, that's the best pizza I've had. I actually went back down there a couple weeks ago, and I've got a frozen pizza in my freezer now. It was so good.
What kind of style pizza is it?
Just a thin crust New York style.
And you get it in Connecticut?
Yep.
Fucking sucks.
Grateful would be very happy.
I know.
Better pizza in Connecticut than I've had in New York, to be completely honest.
Really? Our buddy, the Grateful Gardener, lives in Connecticut, and he's from Jersey. And they constantly have this pizza battle because he's a New Yorker. So it's New York, Jersey, and Connecticut of all places. And I sit it out as a Californian. We have no pizza to offer the world. Please don't eat California pizza.
Great cauliflower crust and
avocado.
Avocados.
It costs $75.
And they got a whole California pizza kitchen, bro. I mean,
I worked at California Pizza Kitchen for
CPK
years in high school. Yeah,
CPK.
Hell yeah. So
I knew you were cut from
every
that cloth, man.
one of my friends. They worked at the CPK because you could smoke and deliver.
That's fucking sick, dude. With a palate like yours, I'm dying to ask this next question. What is your go-to sandwich?
Wow, that's a tough one. Probably a BLT if I'm somewhere that I've never been before, or a turkey club. One of those two would probably be my go-to. But if we're getting if I have an Italian deli or somewhere where they're baking their own bread and they're doing things right, I'll usually go some prosciutto, fresh mozzarella, some balsamic, maybe a tomato on there, some basil, something like that.
Classic. Damn, dude.
My go-to for a sandwich.
Fuck yeah, right on. I dig it. I don't have any more ridiculous.
No, that was what a wonderful thing to end it on. How wonderful. Stony.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go around and ask if anyone has anything to plug before we give it our final thank yous. So I'll start with you.
Full of my plugs. I mean, we're on right now. So I would say thanks for this crew. Thanks for Daz for being on the show. I know they're already gonna start that, but that would be my plug. Next time you get a chance, anyone get onto some of those and get some of those old seeds that have been out there too. And I would also like to plug the design work that you guys do and all the time that you take for it. All of the stickers that everyone digs and all the designs for everything. So I know that you're really key in all of that and do all of that work, and it's another part of your creative expression. So that's going to be my shout out, man. Because I always dig getting them. It's one of the best parts of the full experience of getting my package from Night Owl. So I appreciate you taking all those steps from start to finish. So I guess it wasn't a shout out, but more of a thanks. But
I gotta say shout out to Zawan because he's the man behind the magic as far as the designs. I'll come up with them and I'll send him sketches, and he makes them perfect. So yeah, I couldn't do it by myself, and I'm eternally grateful to him for being an enthusiastic grower and part of this whole experience, because without him the stickers probably wouldn't be nearly as cool.
So then maybe that's my shout out, is your crew behind you, because I think that you're great about calling out this small group of people that takes that. Maybe that's my shout out. They don't get enough credit for all of the extra efforts that go into this, because I understand all that shipping and packaging and getting all the stickers ordered and sorted, and the amount of effort that it must take to get those out the door is monumental. So maybe that's my shout out. Thank you, dude. That's my shout out, is your crew back behind the scenes that don't get enough credit for all the shit that they do.
Hey, Max.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, you already went. So the second one, everyone just pretend you didn't say that. Howling, anything about you?
No, nothing really to plug. I'm just really grateful that Daz came on the show and was able to spend a little bit of time chatting with us average guys. So I'm totally thrilled that you're here. I also appreciate the inspiration you gave me, because I was not able to get a pack of the Blue Power autos, but today I bought the Blue Power photo periods, and I'm going to run them, because if I can't run the autos, I'll run the photos. And so I was a little bit inspired by your work with Sin City there.
I appreciate that very much. I can send you a pack of those as well when the Tropical Whiz go out.
Man, that'd be pretty cool to run the auto and the photo and see how it goes.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh, man, you guys are too nice.
Johnny, don't listen to any other episode then. I promise you. Johnny.
Circling back on what Stony said during a
previous today.
He had mentioned about making autoflowers easier, maybe for like grandma growing out in the backyard. And one of our very first episodes was labeled Grandma Got Ran Over by an Autoflower. And I still do believe there's a fucking place for autoflowers. So shout out to autoflowers, man. That's my shout out.
Perfect. I will go before we let Daz get the last words for him joining us. But I want to thank you for multiple things. We did an entire grow along with some of your stuff, and you sent out so many prizes. I forget how many winners we got. Stony was in charge of that, but I know that he regretted that we said as many people can win.
Sorry about that.
But
awesome,
not only,
I loved every
not
minute
only,
of it.
yeah, not only that, we had the custom sticker, and this is the official end of YAG March. And I thank you for putting us in your calendar as well.
Yeah, dude.
You've been nothing but kind every time I've had a conversation with you, and I want everybody to go listen to him and Flam and Dan over on their podcast, Shoot the Shit. Also, everyone get on Flam to release more as often, and just get on his ass every single day. He really
He acts like he's busy.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. He's a stay-at-home dad. Come on. I'm just kidding. I love you, Flam. But seriously, Daz, do you have anything to plug? Anything that you want to shout out? I appreciate your time.
I just want to bring it full circle somehow, but I don't know how to. Thank you so much for having me on and letting me be part of the crew here. And anytime you guys want to do another grow off or anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's an honor to be a part of your community, and love what you guys are doing. And you're highly entertaining. You're all very intelligent, smart, sharp-witted people, and it's a joy to be around you. So thank you guys very much. I appreciate your support and your help through this.
Yeah, right, dude, you're always on the circle now, man. You're always welcome now. That's part of the rules of it, is once you're in the circle, you're always back. So we'll look forward to seeing you again on the next one.
I appreciate that.
But no more nice words, because we can't afford any more than that, man. We're pretty tapped out. That check was a lot.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Peace.
See you.
See you guys.